What's up, guys? So after spending some quality time with family, I was looking forward to coming back and talking about some new, fresh topics. Moving on from things of the past. You know, topics like bears are safer than the average man. Men don't deserve a smile, a hot meal, or even a sandwich, let alone happiness, respect, and my personal favorite, men should protect women everywhere and be willing to take a bullet and sacrifice their lives. And you can't forget, modern women don't owe men a thing. But of course, here we are, and I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because good, decent men who drink coffee are still dealing with chicks who have a mindset like Kayla Nicole, who believes that she's too good to go 50-50 with any man despite the circumstance. She implied exactly that on Apologetically Angel, a new podcast hosted by American professional basketball player Angel Reese.
I know there was a rumor that they were saying that you stopped messing with him at one point because of 50-50.
Is there water? Where did the water go?
What? What is the question?
Asking for water when you need coffee is crazy. Oh yeah, the coffee's back.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
By the way, just to get the videos that are going to keep coming in your algorithm from the Coffee Pod, share, like the video. If you miss the content, appreciate the content. I appreciate you.
50-50. Remember they were saying that you said he was cheap, or they were saying that you were
Oh, the splitting the bills.
the spitting 50-50. Yeah, the 50-50.
Yeah.
Remember, what was the T on that?
Yeah, do I look like anybody that would split anything?
Oh, okay.
So you guys broke up at that point because
No, this is the question. Do I look like I would go 50-50 on bills?
no.
Okay. So yeah, that was ridiculous. But he addressed that too though. That was, I don't even know why that even became a thing.
Oh.
Yeah, that was never an issue in our relationship, but it was definitely a rumor on the internet. But no, there's no bill splitting. But I think that to each his own. If people like to split their bills with their man, I think that that's what you should do. I don't do that.
Okay, so that was the clip, right? She was asked, so was that true that there was problems because he expected you to go 50-50 on bills? Instead of answering the question, she said, do I look like somebody who would go 50-50 on, which is a crazy response, a very arrogant, crazy response for somebody who claims that they're healed out here dating. This mindset is pretty common and is sort of like an umbrella for a lot of the chicks who really think they're too good to even go 40-60 or 30-70. They don't want to contribute at all. But back to what she said right there, and when asked the question again, she leans in with extreme pride and arrogance and said, do I look like somebody who would go 50-50? The main point I'm trying to get across here is we excuse a lot of arrogance, pride, and thinking your looks is all you need for a long-lasting relationship that in most cases, most of these chicks, both of them want, that leads to marriage. They both want that. What would you think the response would be from modern women in general if a man said, do I look like I would date a fat chick? Hold on, do I look like I would date a plus-size chick, a fat chick? It would be uproar. There would be uproar. They'll be making fun of him. It would not be empowering. You would be called arrogant. So for those of you who don't know who Kayla Nicole actually is, then you're sort of in the same boat I was in. Knew that I had seen her in sports-related topics and headlines, but she's a media personality and model, popular on all the social media platforms, what most women, black women, would call an it girl, who really only became widely recognized after dating NFL star Travis Kelce. The couple had an ongoing off-again relationship for several years, during which Kayla often supported Kelce at his games, showed up for support as any good girlfriend would. The relationship drew a lot of media attention and a lot of criticism. Unfortunately, their relationship ended, and till this day still sparks controversial opinions and takes, just like the one you just saw. So Travis Kelce, her ex-boyfriend, is now dating Taylor Swift, who also about a week ago was just named the world's richest female musician. Think of how crazy that is. Looks like he leveled up to me as far as what she values. A man who's, as you're going to hear as we go on here, a man who's a boss, a man who pays all the bills. He might be living that soft guy lifestyle.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
And then you have Kayla Nicole, who is single, and talking about how she's too good to go 50-50 with the man.
She called herself flexing and got a bigger flex on her. Now he's with somebody he doesn't have to pay a dime for. So it didn't work. You lost him to somebody with more money that will do 50-50.
She says, what do I look like to not be paying? What does somebody look like that doesn't have to pay for 50? What does that look like? I don't get it. I don't understand. You look broke? I don't understand what's the look. Care how beautiful you are. When I heard that interview, you're ugly. That's just my
Yeah,
attitude.
your attitude.
You could be the best looking girl in the world, but you're ugly. I didn't even like the answer. That answer right there made me say, never.
Toxic.
Yeah, I never. Just the attitude.
Wait a minute, Killer. Wait a minute. You might want to regroup.
Bro, I got a picture of her right here. I'm looking at her. I pulled her images up. But you know why? She's on all these red carpets. And when you scroll down on the images, she's on like the top 10 photos of red carpets. And you just see her going and Taylor Swift on all the red carpets. When I'm scrolling up, she just disappears after a while. No more red carpet, no nothing now. And don't get me wrong, I like pretty, but your attitude.
Guys, comment down below. I'm curious to know, what do you think that is? What does somebody look like who doesn't go 50-50? If you really think about what she's saying there, which we know what she's saying she looks too good. She's also saying if you are a woman who's not as attractive as her or attractive at all, then you should probably consider going 50-50. That's what she's saying. Now, what do we know? We know that we have all types of chicks out here claiming they'll never go 50-50, regardless of how they look. What I would encourage is you find somebody where your values and what you exchange goes way beyond just economics. But now we're talking about things that matter for long-lasting relationships, which we know they don't want. But this is a diss to every chick out there who's not a 10. Now, if asked that, she would say, no, I definitely think a Lizzo-sized chick can find a man who pays all the bills, who's a millionaire, or I definitely, you know what? I'm not even going to shout out to Lizzo, man. I'm not even going to put her in this situation. I might stop talking about her as the representational mascot of body positivity, because even she's losing weight. And I support it. But if you asked Kayla Nicole, hey, so what does that mean? Are there chicks who look like they should consider contributing to the bills? She'd probably say, no, that's not what I meant. That's what she meant. But we know they won't keep it real.
Put that coffee down.
I don't like that coffee.
Attitude.
You could be the best looking girl in the world, but you're ugly. I didn't even like the answer. That answer right there made me say, never.
Toxic.
Half these females that look good on Instagram or social media or whatever, you notice they never do videos. They only do pictures because they have no personality.
Right.
And they're boring and they're regular. And you think you're somebody that you're not. And the girls that look half as good as you are funnier than you, better than yours, head is better than yours. They make me laugh. They make me feel good while you're walking around like a stiff mannequin because your makeup is dried up all day. Your ass is tight because you're taking shots and you ain't getting a
He's going in. Hold on, I wasn't ready.
massage on it in a month and a half. Your is about to burst because they full of silicone. And I'll take to look half as good as you with a great personality that make me laugh and think this funny and has good sex.
And you
and
pay
it's
all
dope.
my bills?
I ain't say that. It's gonna meet me halfway.
You know, people look at this and they think, oh, she's just saying that for attention. These chicks don't really mean this. What you're seeing here is exactly what you see with the Ebony K. Williams. This is the younger version of that. Unfortunately, thinking you're too good for 99.9% of men who you run into is a sickness a lot of these chicks have. And it's a delusional perspective to have on the world. Don't get it twisted. This chick wants marriage. She wants a family. She wants a husband. That's the problem. Is I don't think people really understand is that somewhere out there was a guy, based on what was said right there in the video. Shout out to Mason Cam. Based on what was said, there's a guy who saw Kayla Nicole and he was like, man, I wouldn't mind wifing that. From a looks perspective, he thinks she's attractive. But then you hear that woman speak, or you hear one of these women speak out here who looks great on Instagram, great in photos, great when they're in their work environment, but have no idea on what it takes to cooperate with a man. And most guys who are serious about marriage and relationships would look at her and only see a headache. I have to stress this over and over again. When it comes to dating and relationships, it's like fighting, bro. You can't buy your way out of a fight, right? You can't pay your way. You can pay for protection, but it's either you know how to fight or you don't. That's relationships. Either you know how to do it and you've built the right type of character, personality. You understand the sacrifice it takes, right, to have a healthy relationship. It cannot be faked. That's why a mindset of a woman like Kayla Nicole's is exactly the same as the average chick who you can see who doesn't have millions of followers, recognition, but she's fine in her neighborhood and she's attractive in her city. They are failing at the same rate, like the Ebony K. Williams in real life within the dating market. A few key-worthy moments, in case you disagree, from the podcast that will shed more light on the fact that women who may possess a mindset like Kayla Nicole should be avoided like a red flag and are probably doomed are key moments from that podcast I was talking about earlier. They talked about a few things. They spoke on age gaps when it comes to dating.
Okay, now I got a bigger horizon now. I got a bigger horizon now.
But 25 is like a very mature 25.
Yeah.
And even then, it's like, why am I doing this?
It's tough.
I would also date older.
How? What's the oldest?
I mean, older, sky's the limit, really,
Like
at this
70?
point. Okay, no, wait, not.
Okay, 50. 50?
45.
Okay.
I feel like I would draw the line at 45. Like, okay, that's enough. Nothing older than that. Yeah, I would like older guys. Who owns the team?
Ah, who owns the team?
Owns
The owners.
Let's get there.
I like that.
Okay, so listen, think about what was just said right there. I would date older. The sky's the limit, and her sky's the limit definition is 45, right? Let's really think about this. We're not going to talk about how she mentioned she's willing to date a 25-year-old. I think she's like 33 or something like that. And if a man said this, it would be all type of like, oh, that's inappropriate, age gap too wide, he's not mature. You know what you would face as a man if you said the exact same thing. That's not what I want to talk about. All right, so she says she would draw the line at 45 and says she wants an owner. Who owns the team, right? So let's do this real quick. We're about to see the delusion play out here in real life. We're going to have to talk to our AI assistant, barista, Miss Coffee. I know it's been a while, but we're going to have to talk to her. Miss Coffee, who is the youngest owner in the NFL, who holds majority ownership, and how old are they? We have to say majority ownership because if it's like 1%, does it really matter? Right? I'm sure they probably could be voted out or some shit like that. I don't know how it works, but majority ownership is what we're looking for. That's a real owner right there. Let's check it out.
The youngest majority owner in the NFL is Clark Hunt, who is 59 years old as of 2024. Hunt is the chairman and CEO of the Kansas City Chiefs, a role he has held since inheriting the team from his father, Lamar Hunt, in 2006. While there are other owners who are also 59, Hunt is the youngest by a few months. Under his leadership, the Chiefs have experienced significant success.
Hold on, man. I just realized something here. Her ex, the most high-profile man who she was able to get wasn't an owner, wasn't even an owner of a team as far as I know. He was an employee of the team. What team? The Kansas City Chiefs, owned by the youngest majority owner in the NFL, Clark Hunt. Chisha, what's the point here? I'm trying to paint you a picture, guys, of just how out of touch, like these are real questions she's being asked. And she's like, oh, I want a man who owns the NFL team. Okay, well, the best you could do was somebody who's employed by the guy who owns it. And the guy who owns it is practically 60 years old, and he inherited it on top of that from his father, who was a lot older than he was, and her cutoff for the oldest man she's willing to date is 45. Is any of this making sense to you guys? Are you guys seeing how not really thinking through about what you're looking for, what you want from your significant other when it comes to marriage can really hinder you? A lot of people don't know what they're talking about, don't know what they want. If she actually knew exactly what she wanted, then she wouldn't be making crazy statements like, I want to date the owner of an NFL team and my cutoff is 45 years old. They don't exist. This is no different from the chicks who are demanding that the average 20-year-old, 22-year-old, 25-year-old earns six figures. They don't exist. You're not going to find that easily drink the coffee.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Another topic that was touched on was dating athletes.
My biggest advice to dating an athlete, I think, would be to always have your own, whether that's not even just like your own money, but like your own career, your own goals, your own aspirations, because it's really easy to get caught up in their dream and like their vision for their life.
Yeah.
And something that I had to learn early on was like, your relationship could be over tomorrow.
Yeah.
And what do you have? Like, you have no leg to stand on. You have no home to go back to. You have no career to fall back on. And when I had that kind of like aha moment, I got my shit together so quick. It was like, at the time, it was a long distance relationship. I was going back and forth, and I was in between apartments. So I thought, like, that's cool. Like, we're gonna get married, and I'm gonna move into the house, and I don't really need an apartment.
Yeah.
Girl.
So you didn't have anything?
We broke up. My lease was up. My car note, like my lease on my car was up all at the same time. And I was just like, what have I done? So from that point moving forward, thankfully, we ended up getting back together just from like an emotional standpoint. But from that point moving forward, it was like, I don't care who I date. I don't care where they are. I'm going to always have my own place.
Yeah.
I'm going to always have my own car. I'm going to always focus on my career, support theirs, but really prioritize my own goals, because like this, there's no guarantee that this is the end all be all.
Listen, there are two things that will fix all of that. Number one is stop mistaking men who are just really viewing you as a sexual option for your future husband. Because that's where that confusion comes in. We're going to get married. No ring. We're going to live happily ever after. Didn't propose, right? Feeding you sweet lies and nothings. The second one is sign a prenup. Contrary to popular beliefs, a prenup is beneficial both for men and women. Lastly, she also touched on dating men with power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think dating men in general is a challenge, regardless of what their profession is.
Yeah.
Especially if they're a man of influence or affluence, like they have money themselves. I think men in positions of power can be a challenge to date. And I think that they attract
women without power. What also women without power. I
Also
feel like
that.
it's hard for me to like date another man with power because they kind of know like I'm not going for your BS.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
You know I'm not going for the stuff that other women may be okay with, and I feel like that's really hard for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good for, I mean, you have to find someone that you're equally yoked with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't see you dating someone who doesn't have their own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think that, I think they would be intimidated by you, number one. But two, like, I don't see that you would be attracted to that type of man.
So when Angel Reese there talks about, I've dealt with men who have power and they don't realize that I'm going to be difficult because I'm not going for what they're used to. Now, if she's talking about they're used to dealing with women who are going to put up with infidelity, cheating, and all that. Okay, I understand. And that's probably most of what she's talking about. You guys know how I feel about cheating. If you can work on it, I think it should be worked on. Chances are she's also referring to, I won't cook, I won't clean, I don't cater. I have my own equal partnership mindset, which if that's also what she means, then we will see Angel Reese in the exact same position. She's literally looking into the mirror, right, during this conversation. And if we had Ebony K. Williams here, just be like 3 generations of what's to come and what was. And I know I said last but not least, but we really have one more here. And this point actually stood out to me the most, is when they talked about vulnerability and men being vulnerable. Listen to what was said about men being vulnerable and honest.
I also am like, if you're intimidated by any aspect of me, you're not my kind of guy anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I
need a
think that's like,
man.
Yeah, that's my least favorite. That's not a compliment, but like, that's my least favorite review that guys get. It's like, oh yeah, well, I was intimidated by you. Like, I've had to tell a guy before, like, don't ever tell anybody else that again. Like, let me just let you know, like, from a woman's standpoint, like, don't ever tell another woman that you're intimidated by me. Because now I'm like,
wait, they said those words.
They said that to my face. Yeah.
Oh.
He was trying to. It was like a vulnerable moment, so I didn't like. I didn't make him feel bad, but I just had to let him know, like,
but that was the last date, though. That was the last date. Babe, I'm not going to tell you this right now, but this is your last date. You won't be seeing me again. Sorry.
So this was an important one, fellas. Here we have women being honest. And they're saying, we don't like to see a man express it he's intimidated. We don't like a man being vulnerable and saying, hey, you intimidate me. Especially when they're building attraction, right? It lowers their attraction. And I agree. I would agree with the advice that she gave. Especially when you're pursuing a woman now in a marriage, in a relationship where things are kicking off, you guys need to communicate. Things happen. And there's all types of conversations that are had. But initially, when it comes to communicating something like this, you may think, well, if you agree, why are you talking about it? Because over and over again, men are encouraged to be vulnerable with how they feel. Relationships do take a certain amount of vulnerability. But if you're in the beginning stages of getting to know a woman, here's proof that saying things like, you made me nervous, I was scared. And I don't know why any man would be, I get why, man. There are a lot of guys out here who are nervous around women. Let me not act like I haven't been there, because I've been there. But there are a lot of men out here who get nervous around women they find attractive. The advice to those men is pretend like you're not nervous. Get better with approaching. There's no other way. And definitely don't tell her that you find her intimidating. What most chicks would tell you is, I love an honest, vulnerable man. Show your feelings. Cry. There'll be plenty of time to do that. Life is hard enough that you don't have to force and open up a little too much. It needs to be a certain amount of mystery. Now, guys, of course, I'm curious to know, what do you think of this whole conversation? Feels good to be back. Leave your comments and thoughts down below. And if you made it to the end, again, like, share the video, leave a comment. It helps the algorithm and YouTube know that the Coffee Pod is back on YouTube, releasing content, and you love it. Appreciate you guys. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.